Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani here. We'll soon be joining Chris Mueller from his home after he underwent successful knee surgery on a meniscus. So he's doing well. We'll zoom up here in a second and get his thoughts on how he's doing and also some of the events of the day. In the meantime, we invite you to join us on the Bordas and Bordas hotline, which is 412-575-2600. You can also tweet at KDPomp is the Twitter handle. All right, so the Steelers get back to work today. They are 2-6. They're in the bottom of the AFC North. Yesterday, Cincinnati won behind Joe Mixon's 5 touchdowns. Tonight, Baltimore is winning over a team the Steelers will next play, New Orleans. And, boy, the Saints got to play at home tonight. Short week, come to Pittsburgh and play the Steelers, who've been off for 10 days or so. You would think that's a big advantage for the Steelers, and if they don't win this game, then you wonder how many more games they actually will win after that. But T.J. Watt is expected to be back. DeMonte KZ in a really speedy recovery through a forearm problem he had, wrist problem. 10 weeks later, here he is, activated, expected to be, and be a contributor. You might remember in the preseason, part of the season, they were using 3 safety sets, and he was a big player in the preseason. Now, whether or not he'll turn that into a role here on this defense, we'll see. But they certainly have needs in their secondary as the Steelers try to get back on the winning schneid here after losing their final game and really getting blown out in Philadelphia, where the Eagles right now are the team to beat. The best odds of winning a Super Bowl. Who would have thought that here 8 weeks into the season? But that's where we are right now. But things can change, as you know. It is a long season for sure. The Penguins are going to be back in action on Wednesday night as they will go to Washington. The Capitals are leading the Oilers at this hour 4-3. They're playing that game in Washington. And Connor McDavid has a wonderful goal in that game. So does Ovechkin, who now has 8. He just continues to crank in goals from the same spot on the ice. Doesn't matter how many times you see him over there, and you know the pass. It's trying to stop Derrick Henry, like in running the football. You know he's going to get it. Try to stop him. Ovechkin, same thing with the shot. He just makes it every time he gets it. All right, so I think we have Chris Mueller now on Zoom. And before we do anything else, Chris, I want to ask you about, you sound good. I imagine you had successful surgery and you're on the mend right now.
It was one of those paradoxical things, Bob, where the successful surgery is the one that's going to keep me on the shelf, not putting weight on this knee for 6 weeks, not probably walking for a while. If I had gone the easy route, Bob, and you know me, I'm not an easy route kind of guy, then I could have just had a bunch of this crap shaved right out and been back on the old, on the mend, so to speak, in 6 days. But that would have put me on the fast track to a knee replacement and a lot more problems when I'm older, Bob. And I want to be like you when I get 5 or 6 years older, and I'm about the age you are right now. I want to be playing a ton of golf, drinking a ton of red wine, doing all sorts of fun things. So I took the road less traveled, the hard road here. And it hasn't dulled my spirit for the sports call. I can tell you that much.
No, you sound great, and I think you made the right choice there. You also did it at a time of the year where you don't have to worry about golf. There's no way you would have done this in July or June knowing that you had golf yet ahead, right? That would have messed up everything.
Well, there was the little matter of a baby.
Well,
there was a
too.
little matter of a small baby at the end of June that kind of, I think my wife would have punched me right from the hospital bed had I tried to schedule this thing in early July.
Well, I'm glad to see you're doing well, and I know you're going to be, that's your base of operation there coming up. Your thoughts on the Steelers' second half of the season. What do you realistically think they're capable of doing? I think T.J. Watt's presence make them a much better defensive team, which should help their offense, but their schedule get easier. They're 2-6. Where do you see them going from here?
I mean, I think the schedule getting easier, it's not necessarily like a myth, Bob. Obviously, they're playing worse teams, worse quarterbacks, but I guess when you bring that up and when people say that and cite that as a reason for optimism, well, that kind of eliminates the wiggle room here. You better start stringing some wins together. I better see this defense not only with Watt, but with KZ, who you heard so much about. He was going to make them faster, more able to cover over the middle, less vulnerable to some of the things that befell Devin Bush all the time, where he would get worked over by tight ends, by wide receivers. If he's going to come back into the lineup, then I need to see this defense look a little better. But I think you would probably agree with this. I bet most of the people listening, watching would agree with this too. It's all about, in the second half of the season, do you get anything these last 9 games from Kenny Pickett, really from Matt Canada and Kenny Pickett, the combination that makes you feel good about next year? What do you see Pickett do? Do you see him look more comfortable? Do you see the game slow down for him? Do you see him at times even dictate terms to a defense outside of a 2-minute drill where he can go tempo? I think that's what really matters. The AFC is way too deep for them to have any delusions about the playoffs. But maybe get a couple of wins and see your rookie quarterback look more like a guy who's ready to make a leap next year.
And put a down payment on something good for next year. And if you come away thinking good about this offense based on Kenny Pickett and the next 9 games, then that gives you something to build on moving into next year. We're due for a break. Chris will take it. We open up the phone lines. It's 412-575-2600. Jump on them right now. We'd love to talk to you. We're right here live. It's Pittsburgh CW, and we're also simulcasting on 93.7 The Fan.